فليعلم العالم أننا شيعة مولاي أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب. فليسمع العالم أننا بريئون من كل من لم يواليك يا علي يا علي يا علي يا علي.
علي 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 يا مولاي. علي 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 يا مولاي.
ونفسي بتقوى الله. I advise you to be pious and to fear Allah in your actions. And remember that we all are passengers, we all are travelers in this world, and we have to travel from this world to the other world which we are created for. In this sermon today, I continue with another sermon from Nahjul Balagha. It is about describing the wonderful creation of the peacock, about the wonderful creation of birds. I chose this sermon because this is an example that how we can think about the things around us. We see many things around us as the signs of Allah in this world. In this sermon, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam speaks about the birds and about peacock especially. And we can learn how to think about things that we see in ourselves and in the world. And Allah Tabarak Ta'ala has said that سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ. We soon would show you our signs in the horizon, in the different horizons, and also within yourselves, in order to know that Allah Tabarak Ta'ala is the truth. And if the scientists, because there are many truths in the world of science that scientists come at, and they know many things, many amazing things, but the thing that we lack and the scientists of today lack is that they don't think about these things, they don't look at these things as a sign. And it's very important. If you look at things as they are something, it doesn't guide us to Allah Tabarak Ta'ala. But if we think about things as signs of a powerful being that has created them, then we are connected to Allah Tabarak Ta'ala. This connection just now is cut. And the more the scientists go ahead, the more they become far from Allah Tabarak Ta'ala. But it should be vice versa. The more we are knowledgeable, we have to be more nearer to Allah Tabarak Ta'ala. And this is a way that we can learn how to explain and how to think about things. Allah has provided wonderful creation, including the living, the lifeless, the stationary, and the moving. It is different ways of power that Allah has showed us, that He can create things which are living, which are lifeless, which are stationary, and which are moving. He has established such clear proofs for His delicate creative power and great might that minds bend down to him in acknowledgement thereof and in submission to him. And arguments about his openness, his oneness strike our ears. He has created birds of various shapes which live in the burrows of the earth, in the openings of high passes and on the peaks of mountains. This is one of the reasons some people ask why Allah Ta'ala has created different things, from very big things to very small things. Some people ask why Allah Ta'ala has created flies, why He has created elephants, for example. Fly is very small and elephant is very big. These are the signs of His power. He wants us to understand that He is able to do anything and to create any kind of creations. They have different kinds of wings and various characteristics. If you think about birds, they are different. They are controlled by the reign of Allah's authority. They flutter with their wings in the expanse of the vast firmament and the open atmosphere. He brought them into existence. And this is one thing that Quran speaks about. Look at the birds, how Allah Ta'ala saved them in the atmosphere and they don't fall. They are heavy, but they have means that they can fly. This is one of the signs of Allah's power. He brought them into existence from non-existence in strange external shapes and composed them with joints and bones covered with flesh. This is the general features that they have. They have joints, they have bones, which is covered with flesh. This is the general thing that they have, but very different. He prevented some of them from flying easily in the sky because of their heavy bodies and allowed them to use their wings only close to the ground. There are some, and this is another sign. If you become heavy, you can't fly, even if you are a bird. If you become heavy, if you put much burden on yourself, or you put something earthly on yourself, on your shoulders, on your body, you can't fly. You have to be thin in order to be strong enough to fly. Only close to the ground. They can fly close to the ground. He has set them in different colors by His delicate might and exquisite creative power. Among them are those which are tinted with one hue, and there is no other hue except the one in which they have been dyed. They are colored different. Some of them only has one color in them. For example, some of them are white, only white. Some of them are only black. And this is one sign that Allah is powerful to do anything He wants. There are others which are tinted with one color and they have a neck ring of a different color than that with which they are tinted. Some of them are, for example, black, or they are white, but they have a ring neck with another color, which puts them very beautiful. makes them very beautiful. And this is another sign of Allah. You see, when we see these nice things, these beautiful things, if we think about Allah, this sight changes to a divine sight. You can see Allah in this mirror. It is a mirror. It shows you the creator. Not only this side, this beautiful thing. The thing that today we lack is that we see many beautiful things. But when we come back, for example, you go to watch a good site. When you come back, you think that you are not satisfied. Why? Because you looked at the mirror, but you looked only at the mirror. You didn't see anything in it. You have to look at the mirror to see something in it. You have to see Allah in these mirrors that you see. So these all are signs of Allah. These are mirrors that can show Allah to your heart if you think about these things. And this is the way that you can think. You can think about anything, everything that you have. About the peacock. The most amazing among them in its creation is the peacock, which Allah has created in the most symmetrical, balanced dimensions. So you see that every side of peacock is, if the left side has something, the right side has the same in the shape and in the color. So it's very, very balanced. And arranged its hues in the best arrangement, with wings whose ends are interleaved together, and whose tail is long. You see, the tail of the peacock is 2-3 times longer than his body. It's one of the amazing things. When it moves to its female, it spreads out its folded tail and raises it up so as to cast a shade over its head, as if it were the sail of a boat being pulled by the sailor. This is a metaphor that Amir al-Mu'mineen said. The example of this peacock is like a ship that has the sailor puts up the curtain. Feels proud of its colors and swaggers with its movements. So then Amir al-Mu'mineen speaks about something that some non-informed people speak about, how, for example, mating of peacock happens. Amir al-Mu'mineen explains that it is ordinary mating, and it is not through tears of peacock. I think there were a hadith that some people narrated, but it is not authorized. And Amir al-Mu'mineen explains, no, it is not such a thing. It is ordinary, like roosters. It is the same thing as roosters. The peacock walks with vanity and pride, and throws open its tail and wings and laughs, admiring the handsomeness of its dress and the hues of its necklace of gems. But when it casts its glance at its legs, it cries loudly with a voice which indicates its call for help and displays its true grief. Allah has given him very handsomeness, but there is an ugly thing in him. When he casts his look at the legs, he cries because his legs are ugly. Because its legs are thin, like the legs of Indo-Persian crossbred cocks, At the end of its chin, there is a thin thorn, and on the crown of its head, there is a bunch of green, variegated feathers. Its neck begins in the shape of a goblet, and its stretch up to its belly is like the hair dye of Yemen in color. It explains the neck and the chest of how it's beautiful, like the cloth of Yemen that is colorful. Or like silk cloth put on a polished mirror. Imagine, it's very nice that there is a cloth of silver put on a polished mirror, because it's very shiny. The mirror adds to the shining of the shiny things. Looks as if it has been covered with a black veil. Even it's silver, but if you look at silver, it is white. In the behind it there is a black thing, because silver it doesn't look like white only. There is a black shade in it. Except that on account of its excessive luster and extreme brightness, it appears that a lush green color has been mixed with it. So it is like silver, it's like mirror, it's like having a black veil. At the same time, it has a green color in it. Very amazing color. That who can create such a thing in feather, not in metal, in feather. See how Amirul Mu'min explained things, and how we can explain things and think about them, the Almighty Allah. Along the openings of its ears, there is a line of shining bright daisy color, like the thin end of a pen near the ears. Whiteness shines on the black background. There is hardly a hue from which it has not taken a bit and improved it further by regular polish luster, silken brightness and brilliance. It is therefore like scattered blossoms which have not been seasoned by the rains of spring or the sun of the summer. It's very nice explanation. It also sheds its plumage and puts off its dress. This is another amazing thing in the peacock, because like the trees that the leaves fell down, every year its feathers goes off. And amazing is that afterwards new feathers comes forth, and it is the same thing. It looks like the same feather that it has loosened. They all fall away and grow again. They fall away from the feather stems like the falling of leaves from twigs. And then they begin to join together and grow till they return to the state that existed before their falling away. So it becomes exactly the same feature afterward. So if you have a picture of this year and a picture of next year, you would see that it is the same. The colors is the same, the shape is the same, the length is the same, all the things is the same. Isn't it amazing? What is called, what artist can paint the same thing, paint two things the same, It's not possible. Or two faces that it looks like the same thing in the all features and the all details. It is another way of thinking about Almighty Allah. So, and it is a sign of hereafter, how Allah can bring our body as it was. The feathers goes away, but next year it comes back the same shape and the same features. So you die, and after death, Allah brings you back. Even your fingers. Look at your fingers. It has very delicate lines in it. The same thing would be created. How? The way that the peacock feathers fall, and afterwards it comes back. The new hues do not change from the previous ones, nor does any color occur in other than its own place. The color is in its place. If you carefully look at one hair, from the hairs of its feather stems, it would look like red rose. If you look at one of them, one of the feathers, first you think that it is a rose, because first that circle that it has, it is red. So you think that it is a rose. Then emerald green. Then you think that it is a piece of emerald. And then golden yellow. After that, the color is golden yellow. How can sharpness of intellect describe such a creation? Of faculty of mind, or the utterances of describers manage to tell of it. Even its smallest parts have made it impossible for the imagination to pick them out, or for tongues to describe them. Glorified is Allah, who has disabled intellects from describing the creation which He placed openly before the eyes, and which they see bounded, shaped, arranged, and colored. You see that there are things that is before our eyes, but we can't describe them. He also disabled tongues from briefly describing its qualities, and also from expanding in its praise. Glorified is Allah, who has assigned feet to small ants and gnats, very small flies, and also to those above them, the serpents and the elephants, snakes and elephants. He has made it obligatory upon Himself that no skeleton in which He infuses the spirit would move, but that death is its promised place and destruction its final end. So this is the way that we think, from the tiny flies, to the very big elephants. Everybody that Allah has put soul in their skeleton, they would die. This is the way that creation is, and the sunnah of Allah Tabarak Ta'ala. This way we can think about things. You can think about your eyelashes when you look at the mirror. You can think about the eyelashes of yourself. Look at the tiny things that it has. A very tiny hole that it has got, your eye here, that the extra tears go to the nose from that very small hole. Look at how in a very delicate way Allah has created these things in you, and think about the glory Allah Tabarak Ta'ala, and think that what is on you and what is your obligatory to do for this kind Lord that has created you. We want Allah Tabarak Ta'ala to give us an open eye to His signs and to think about things, and this is a way that we can improve our knowledge about Allah and improve a heart relation with Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Sadaqallahu al-aliyyul azim. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الواحد الأحد الفرد الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد اللهم صل على رسول الله الخاتم محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وصلى على أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب وصلى على فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين وصلى على الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة وسبطي نبي الرحمة وصلى على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف القائم الحجة المنتظر المهدي صلواتك عليهم أجمعين. عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله. All creatures of Allah, I advise you and myself to be pious and to fear Allah and think about our destination, about our goal of life. The problem that Muslim people face today is efforts that is made in different parts of the world to break down the unity of Muslim people. And the things that we see in Pakistan, the thing that we see in Afghanistan, the thing that we see in Iraq, and the thing that we see all around the world is to break down the unity of Muslim people. You have heard about this story that a father asked his sons when he wanted to die, was going to die, he gathered his sons together and gave them a bunch of tiny sticks and asked them to break this bunch of tiny sticks. He gave every one of them this bunch of tiny sticks, and they tried their best. They couldn't break it. They couldn't break it because it was a bunch of tiny sticks. They did their best, but they were very strong. They were young people, they were very strong, but they couldn't break it down. And after they tried Every one of them tried it and they couldn't do it. And they were amazing that these are very tiny, but why we can't do it? He himself said it is very easy. He untied the bunch and started breaking them one by one. And he broke all the sticks. This is our story today, story of us Muslims. You see that anywhere in the world that Muslim people are alone and they are weak, they are being killed. Look at Chechnya. There isn't any way for other Muslim countries to help them. They are a rather small group of people. So it is like they are far from other Muslims in a way that other Muslims, other Muslim nations, they can't help them. So they started to break them down. Look at Bosnia. This is the same way. And also it is another responsibility that is on our shoulders. Because if we don't help them, if we let them be alone, so the beasts would eat them. This is our difficulty today. Don't think, brothers and sisters, don't think if some people of us are killed and in fact they martyred. So we began to say, okay, for example, 2, 3, 30, 50, 70, 100 people from Shia people were killed, so we have to kill 100 Sunni people. It is not the way it is. We have to think, yes, we have to think about the one who killed these people. And we have to kill that. It is a good qisas that we have. But it is not good to say, okay, a group of Shia people were killed, so we have to kill other people, Sunni people, the same number. It's not wise. We have to keep our unity. I don't say that we have to accept their ideas. No. We are Muslims. The Kaaba is one. The God is one. Allah is one. The Quran is one. Many things. Salat is one. Fasting is one. We have many common things to think about. So we have different ideas as well. I don't say that we have to give up our ideas and forget them. No. We have to save them. We have to reason about them. We have to keep them. And we know, we believe, and we have our reasons that our ideas are right, and we can discuss about these ideas. But we have to be united with other Muslims in all around the world. This is the way that we can save Islam as a whole. But if we forget this unity, they would break us one by one. I don't know when would come and it is our turn. But if we are separated, if we are not one hand, then they would break us one by one, brothers and sisters. If in Pakistan Muslim people are weak, be sure that one day, if they broke them out, one day is the turn of Muslims in United States to be massacred. And we have to wait. if we don't think about this difficulty. You see what happened to Amir al-Mu'mineen, who is a figure that is an example for us in the whole life. He is our first Imam, and we have to follow our Imam. He waited 25 years. His family was killed. He waited. Who? The most pious lady in the world. She was killed. But Amir al-Mu'mineen didn't say anything. He waited. Why? For the unity of Muslims. You have heard that once when Amir al-Mu'mineen and Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha, they were speaking, and Fatima Zahra said, Ya ibn Abi Talib, اشتملت شملة الجنين وقعدت قعدة الظنين. O son of Abi Talib, you have seated in the house like the baby in the stomach of the mother, not moving, not doing anything. And you have seated in the house like the person who is guilty. Why you do that? And you see that they are oppressing me, oppressing us. Aren't you the same man that you were fighting non-believers? You were the bravest man in Islam. Why you do that? Why you don't say anything? In the meantime, Azan was called. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Amir al-Mu'mineen said very kindly to Fatima Zahra salamullah alayha, do you like this voice continue? Do you like this Azan continue? We have to wait. We have to wait. And Amir al-Mu'mineen waited. 25 years he waited. You think that in these 25 years he didn't do anything? No. According to the history of Muslim, he was going to the Salat and saying Salat with those who didn't believe as a leader. But he went to the Salat with them. He was the leader. But for the sake of Islam, he went to the masjid and he followed them. And of course, he guided them. Because in every occasion that came forth, they asked Amir al-Mu'mineen what to do. And he gave them the best solution. To the extent that the Umar ibn al-Khattab said, and they have in the narrations in Sahih Sittah, in the books of our Sunni brothers, they have narrated this, that Umar said, Lawla aliyun lahalaka Umar. In what situation was this? Said if Ali wasn't, Umar would die in the harsh situations of Muslim world. It was because Amir al-Mu'mineen took part in everything in the Muslim world while he was oppressed himself. But he waited. He waited for the unity of Muslim people. So brothers, the unity is the most important thing that we have. And we have to be kind with our brothers, Muslim brothers, in every place in the world. If you are one hand, no one can break us. If we are separated, then we have to wait for being broken one by one. And we ask Allah Tabarak Ta'ala to help all Muslimin in the world. Oh Allah, we ask you to save our unity around the world. We ask you to help true Muslims to do, and all Muslims to do their responsibility, and to be a hand against the enemies of Islam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma ajjal liwaliyyika al-faraj waj'alna min khayri a'wanihi wa ansarihi wa shi'atihi. Allahumma ayyid humat ad-din. Allahumma ayyid ulama'ana ar-rabbaniyyin. Allahumma ayyid waliyya amr al-muslimin. Allahumma waffiqna lima tuhibbu wa tarda waj'al 'awaqiba umurina khayra. محمد وآله صلواتك عليهم أجمعين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. فصدق الله العلي العظيم. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليهم أجمعين. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. استغفر الله وأسأله التوبة. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. كذلك الله ربي. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وسلم وعجل فرجهم وأحينا حياتهم وأمتنا مماتهم وأدخلنا في كل خير أدخلتهم فيه وأخرجنا من كل سوء أخرجتهم منه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. حول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. كذلك الله ربي. الله الله. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.